Hello, Christopher here, and welcome back to the Patriot Report. Today we witnessed a moment that should give every American pause. President Trump met with President Zelenskyy of Ukraine, and two exchanges from that meeting deserve very careful attention. A reporter asked President Zelenskyy about the possibility of holding elections in Ukraine if peace were reached. Zelenskyy gave a straightforward explanation of how their election system functions. But what stood out was President Trump's reaction. He appeared to seriously entertain the idea, almost as though the notion of adjusting or prolonging his own political future was under consideration. That may have seemed subtle, but to anyone who values the Constitution, it should have been a red flag. The highest law of our land is crystal clear: no president may serve more than 2 terms. This isn't a suggestion. This isn't a negotiable clause. It's a fundamental safeguard to prevent the concentration of power in one individual, the very thing our founders feared.
Upon peace, God willing we get peace, are you open to holding an election in your country?
Yes, of course. We are open for election, yes. We have to do safety circumstances, and a little bit we need to work in the parliament, because during the war you can't have elections, but we can do security. We need, we need a truth, yes, everywhere, in the battlefield, in the sky, in the sea, yeah, to make possible for people to do democratic, open, legal elections.
So you say during the war you can't have elections. So let me just say 3.5 years from now, so you mean if we happen to be in a war with somebody, no more elections? Oh, that's good. I wonder what the fake
news is. You like this idea?
Yeah.
No.
Speaking of news.
As Americans, we must be vigilant. Even the hint that a sitting or former president might be pondering ways to skirt those limits should stir us deeply. Our republic depends on honoring the boundaries of the Constitution, not stretching them for personal ambition or temporary political advantage. The second exchange was just as troubling. Another reporter asked President Trump about the idea of doing away with mail-in ballots. His response suggested openness to eliminating them outright.
Out on social media about doing away with mail-in ballots and potentially electronic voting machines. Can you expand on that and how important
Well, that's a very off-topic, just really quickly. Mail-in ballots are corrupt. Mail-in ballots, you can never have a real democracy with mail-in ballots. And we, as a Republican Party, are going to do everything possible that we get rid of mail-in ballots. We're going to start with an executive order that's being written right now by the best lawyers in the country to end mail-in ballots because they're corrupt. And you know that we're the only country in the world, I believe, I may be wrong, but just about the only country in the world that uses them because of what's happened. Massive fraud all over the place. The other thing we want change are the machines. For all of the money they spend, it's approximately 10 times more expensive than paper ballots. And paper ballots are very sophisticated with the watermark paper and everything else. We would get secure elections. We'd get much faster results. The machines, I mean, they say we're going to have the results in 2 weeks. With paper ballots, you have the results that night. Most people, many countries use paper ballots. It's the most secure form. So between paper ballots, very, very important, paper ballots, and I think maybe even more important, the mail-in voting. We're going to end mail-in voting. It's a fraud. If you have mail-in vote, even Jimmy Carter with this commission, they set it up. He said the one thing about mail-in voting, you will never have an honest election if you have mail-in. And it's time that the Republicans get tough and stop it, because the Democrats want it. It's the only way they can get elected.
Now, let's be clear, election integrity is a legitimate concern. Fraud must be guarded against, and transparency is essential. But simply doing away with mail-in ballots by executive impulse risks disenfranchising millions of Americans. Many elderly citizens, those with disabilities, our men and women serving overseas, and others who cannot physically make it to a polling station depend on this system to have their voices heard. The Constitution places sovereignty in the people, not in any one office, not even the presidency. To remove a lawful, long-standing means of voting, simply because one president finds it politically inconvenient, would undermine that sovereignty. It is not the role of the executive branch to decide which citizens get to vote. Both of these moments, small as they may seem, reflect a deeper issue: how fragile constitutional order becomes when ambition and expediency take precedence over principle. Our republic was designed with checks and balances precisely because human nature is prone to overreach. The two-term limit and broad access to voting are not arbitrary, they are shields protecting liberty. This is why constitutionalists, conservatives, and indeed all Americans should be concerned. If we shrug off even subtle hints of bending the rules, if we allow the tools of self-government to be restricted, we risk eroding the very foundation of the republic. The framers entrusted us with this system, but it will only endure if citizens insist on fidelity to it. Presidents come and go, but the Constitution must remain firm. Thanks for listening. I'm Christopher, and this has been the Patriot Report. Stay informed, stay free.